Hey y'all, this is Dariann Leigh, and you're listening to Hank Jr. on Hank's Corner.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the special edition of Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr., part of Hank Jr. Productions, where I'm documenting life's moments through photography, videography, and now podcasting. And for those that you've been following me, you'll know that this is my 75th episode of Hank's Corner. So I started out last October. We're about a year later, and we're up to 75. So thank you for all those who have been following, tuning in, and thanks to all the artists that have been a part of my show. And I'm so happy that my 75th artist is Dariann Leigh tonight. So Dariann, welcome to the podcast, and how are you doing?
Thank you for having me. Congratulations on 75. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. So first question I always like to ask, though, because artists are all over the place, where are you actually calling in from tonight?
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay, so Nashville is your home base now, correct?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
I actually only moved in November, but I traveled back and forth for about 4 years beforehand. So I always tell people the only difference really is I have all of my things with me now.
Okay, so you have a place to go home and sleep and stay there and start all over again. But Ada, you alluded that you travel back and forth. You're originally from Minnesota, correct?
Yeah, MN girl.
All right. So I don't know if you're a Minnesota football fan, are you?
I always say it's hard to claim yourself as one because they tend to be painful to root for sometimes, but I do always root for my home state, absolutely.
Okay, well that's good because I was gonna give you condolences because my Philadelphia Eagles actually did win. I guess it's only 2 days ago from when we're recording this podcast, but same thing with the Eagles. You kind of hope for the best, and sometimes they just kind of let you down. But
Right.
tell me a little bit about Minnesota and the good parts, the bad parts, and if I ever get to go visit there, where are some of the places I should visit?
Ooh, I would say the good parts is I think there's a lot of really nice people in Minnesota. But honestly, I've always been pleasantly surprised by how many nice people there are everywhere. But Minnesota is known for the Minnesota nice. So everybody's very, very nice. It's very cold. So if you like the cold, definitely go during the winter months, which is about 8 months out of the year. If you like the warmth, go like June, July, August. July is your best month because it's warmer. The land of 10,000 lakes. I'm a water girl, so the lakes is everything to me. And I don't think any other state's lakes that I've been to so far compared to Minnesota lakes. I think they're superior. I think they're amazing, but I might be biased. But
Well,
I'm
and I
very, very
say that I'm
small.
sure your lakes are better than here in Florida because up there, I'm sure you don't have what we have down here, which are alligators, and
No,
we
we don't.
we cannot go in our lakes down here, because we have to be careful on doing that.
Right. No, we don't have those. It's a little too cold.
Yeah, definitely. So I recently got the opportunity. I was just in Nashville not too long ago, and I got to see you playing at the Florida Georgia Line restaurant bar there, and it was a great performance.
Thank
I
you.
enjoyed getting to see you there. But one of the things I liked about that place was it actually had good food because
Yes.
some of the places there, they're great, they're fun to go to, but their food's a little bit, I don't know. But my wife and I actually did enjoy that food there. But how often are you there, and how often are you on Broadway?
I'm on Broadway a couple times a week. Typically at least once. But basically the normal thing is about 2 to 3 times a week for me. But I
Okay,
will
and
say all the food that I play at the bars that I play at downtown, all the food is great. I know some
uh,
are not the same, but their food is great.
oh, that's good. And where are some of the places besides FGL that you play?
Yeah, I play Miranda Lambert's, Casa Rosa, Jason Aldean's, Luke Bryan's, as well as Tequila Cowboy.
Okay, so if you guys are out there in Nashville, be sure to check that out. I'm sure you'll be able to find Dariann somewhere out there on the strip. And are you still doing your social media by yourself?
Yes.
Is
I
it
am.
is it getting harder the more popular you're getting, or are you still enjoying it?
For me, I've recently started having other people do photos more like yourself, hiring people to do my photos and things like that. I've always done photo shoots. I do a little bit of modeling here and there. So I get a lot of content from that. But I have recently started doing shoots with other people just because I feel like I can only do so much myself. I can only see so many visions. So it's really fun to bring other people in and play with their artistry. But I do still run all of the things. I fall in and out of love with TikTok often though. That is I try my best, but I do fall in and out of love with
Yeah,
TikTok.
that's one platform that I have not tested the waters yet, and I don't know if I would do well there. But kudos to those who can. And you
Right.
talked about some of the photographers, and one of them is Justin Hammond, correct?
Mhm.
So he is a great photographer. I know he's worked with a lot of great artists, including one of my friends, Kirstie Kraus. But tell
Yes.
me, how is it to actually work with him in person?
I consider Justin and his wife Christina family, so working with them is so much fun. I've filmed every single music video with him actually. All of my music
Okay.
videos are done by him. Almost all of my cover art has been shot by him besides maybe one. I shoot a lot with him and we hang out with him a lot. It's very, very fun.
Well, that's great because a lot of times when I talk about asking artists, who are your inspirations? I tell you, Justin's one of mine. I think he does great work
Oh,
out
that's
there,
awesome.
and I'm always willing to promote him. But back to the music, you have a new song out that was just released a couple of weeks ago, and I promoted on my New Music Friday post called Jackson. It's
Yeah.
doing pretty well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Jackson is about my small town in northern Minnesota, and I always tell people, think of your smallest town that you know of and divide it by 2, divided by 2, divided by 2, divided by 2, and you maybe have my hometown. Because typically people are from hometowns, small towns. Everyone is from a small town, it seems. But typically they're from a small town that has a lot more than my small town. I'm from a small town of, I believe now the population is 700, maybe 713. I graduated one of 14 in my entire class. My school, when I graduated, has less than everyone I know is graduating class, K through 12. So very small town. So I've always just appreciated what it's like to have a community around you like that with so much closeness. And sometimes there's downfalls, like everybody knows everything about one another, but the upside to that is everyone knows one another and you always feel pretty safe.
Okay. Well, I know I'm liking Jackson, and I like to go ahead and play it here on Hank's Corner.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the sound of that horse running. Maybe it's a feeling of what's coming. When there's two wheels down on a runaway, you've shown up late. Maybe it's fate. It's coming home from school and knowing mama's always there. It's those late night songs and tear-filled prayers that's got me running around this no stoplight town, asking for one more shot at Jackson. 'Cause I've got a couple bucks in my back pocket, a few rides that are worth the walk, and a spiral notebook full of songs where I try to find out what went wrong when Granddaddy tried to come home that night from a bar fight and I wound up gone. It's the kind of things a kid can't depend on. Spent my whole life chasing my brothers, some one-time lovers. They taught me the superficial things ain't what it means to fix a broken heart. That's the start. I've got a couple bucks pocket. Few lines that are worth the walk in a spiral notebook full of songs where I try to find out what went wrong. Granddaddy tried to come home that night from a bar fight and wound up gone. Oh, sometimes I mistake his faith the fate that I can depend on. Maybe it's faith and one more shot at Jackson.
Welcome back to Hank's Corner. This is my 75th episode. I'm here with Dariann Leigh, and you just heard her most recent song, Jackson, out there. And like I said, this is doing really well. And it just seems like, you continue to do well, better each time you get out there. And I love to see that your, progress is growing. But let's go back, though. I want to go back to when you were like 5, 6 years old. You were starting to do theater and things like that. Tell me, how did you start out to get to where you are today?
Oh man, I think a lot of my beginning came from being in theater just because I was so engrossed in that environment. I have 3 older brothers. My eldest of my brothers is very into theater and music. And so that was really huge for me being able to be in that environment. And my other brothers went in and then actually ended up being on the more technical side is what they preferred. But seeing that side of art was very, very cool for me growing up, and a lot of singing in school, church, you name it. And I actually used music to learn a lot of times in school. I struggled a little bit, and so being able to make my own songs, write my own songs to my spelling words or whatever it might have been was huge for me growing up. And it's always been my home. Music has always been the place that I fall back on, and so it's been really special to do that for a living.
Okay. And you mentioned, the theater, today or, maybe possibly in the future, are you still interested in doing the theater?
I think it'd be really fun. I haven't done it for a while. I mean, you do a little bit of acting here and there in music videos, and I've been in other people's music videos here and there, but I think it'd be really fun to do it again.
Okay. And if you had your choice to be in any, Broadway play, which one would that be?
Oh, I'd have to probably fall back on the originals that I saw when I was a kid. I have not seen any of them besides the one live. I saw Mamma Mia live with my mom, not in New York, their road version. I think that'd be really fun. I fell in love with Phantom of the Opera when I was really, really young, so I think it'd be really cool to have that full circle moment. There's so many, though. There's so many.
Yeah, and I'll definitely second Phantom of the Opera. That's one of my favorites, one of my wife's favorites as well.
So good.
It's just so unique, so different, and the power in the singing is just amazing. So if you're
Right.
ever in that, you can guarantee I'm going to get a front row seat to that because I love
Amazing.
that. Yeah, yeah, and my wife actually, we got to see that one time in London, and that was kind of interesting to do it out there. And
I
but
bet.
yeah, so it was a little different than New York, but we
Right.
we definitely enjoyed that. But going back to when you were little, what made you actually decide that, hey, I think that music might be something for me?
Honestly, I don't really know that I ever sat down and had that thought. I think it was always just what I wanted to do. I can't even remember a time where music wasn't in my life. I think I always knew that I wanted to do it. I grew up with the Disney Channel. So as I saw all those people and their singing and everything, I think that's what really got me. But there was artists around my hometown as well that were coming out and singing, some of them that live out here now. And I think just watching them really inspired me, but I don't know that there's ever really that concise decision for me of that thought process. I think I just always knew, like it was always in my mind.
Okay. And I hear that a lot. It just seems to be, more so in the music industry than I hear in any other professional. There's like, when I was young, I knew right away that that's what I wanted to do. And, people talk about, I was 4 or 5 singing with a hairbrush and
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
all that. And it's amazing how, when it comes to this industry, you guys kind of knew ahead of time where you want. We're like me, I'm going to college and I still don't know what I want to do, and but good for that. But when did you first pick up your music instrument?
Ooh, I mean, I played piano long before I played guitar, actually. I wish I would have kept up with it because I don't remember so much anymore. But in school, I played piano at about third grade and then went into percussion in fifth, and learned how to play guitar on my own, actually, in probably about eighth grade. And then my parents had enough of hearing me bash the guitar and got me some lessons.
Oh, well, good for your parents, but you bring them up, but they are a great support system for you, correct? I mean, I know that they're behind you 100%, and you're very close with them, and they love coming out there to see your stuff. Tell me a little bit about what that means to you.
Yeah, I mean, it means the world to me. My family is very, very supportive, and my parents especially. They've been hugely instrumental in not only my life, but my brother's life as well. I'm the youngest of four. I have three older brothers. We've all gone on and chased what we want to do with our life, and they have been all beyond supportive. All hopes that you would ever think that a parent should be in support, they've been beyond that. It's been extremely instrumental for me.
Oh, well, that's awesome to hear because you really need that in this type of work because unlike a regular 9 to 5 job, you
Yeah,
don't know how it's going to turn out. And,
yeah,
you see on TV where parents are like, no, don't do that because, get a real job. But, in real life, we do see parents like yours that support this and, good for them. I want to play another song that's been doing really well for you called 10,000 Miles. And when we come back, I want you to talk a little bit about that song.
yeah.
Hey, it's Dariann. Sorry I missed your call. Be sure to leave a message and I'll get right back to you.
Hey, beautiful. I know you're probably sleeping right now, and I'm not sure when I'll be able to call again. Everything's going good over here. I love you, and I miss you.
Like waves in the ocean are bound to the sea, crashing over and over into me. Two drops in the ocean and our love is key. Oh, if you ever wonder where I'll be, from sea to shining sea, you know you're out there fighting. I'm
And that was 10,000 Miles by Dariann Leigh here on Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. Now, tell me a little bit about the backstory of this song.
Yes, I always tell people that my writing process to this is different. It's not how everything works. But I wrote the song on the bathroom floor of my hotel room. I guess it'd be about 2.5 years ago now. Um, if you've never sang in a hotel bathroom, I 10 out of 10 recommend. Anybody that has knows that the acoustics are tremendously amazing. They're awesome. They're the best. But I wrote it while the person that I loved was serving overseas in deployment, and I needed to record a song in 2 days. And I was in the midst of being sent music and saying whether I liked it or not. And all of it was beautiful and I loved it all, but I didn't feel personally tied to it like I wanted to be. And just decided to sit down and try to write. And it was a 15-20 minute write, which doesn't happen often. Like I said, it's not the circumstance for everything, but it's one of those situations where it was truly just a song that was meant to be put on paper. And it was just a diary entry engraved in time. And it's been very cool to see people connect to this song, not only just my story through this song, but their story within it too.
Yeah, and I think that for many reasons this song could resonate with a lot of people, including myself. I am a big supporter of our military. All my family except for me was a military person, but everybody knows that I definitely support it. I'm part of Freedom Jam every year, where we do concerts that raise money to give back to veterans. But it's so cool to see the support for that. But it's also a different kind of side when you're the person that's being left, correct? So you got that support, but inside of you, you're kind of torn.
Yeah. Well, and it was very unique circumstances too. When the deployment was going on is when COVID began to hit, and everything kind of seemed like it was tearing at the seams in just the universe. Life was so crazy and the world was halted, and it felt like we were still spinning, but we're just trying to keep up with the world moving around us. So it was a very unique time for sure.
Yeah, you say unique, I say crazy, because I think everybody was pretty much going crazy and didn't know what to do next. I mean, I to some extent, obviously there were some bad parts about it, but for me, I was able to take a little bit easier. I wasn't working as hard, but definitely a crazy time. But a lot of people, have different ways of dealing with it. As a musician, do you feel that I don't want to say lucky is the right word, but are you lucky that you able to put your thoughts on paper and put it into a melody? Does that really help you out?
I think that for me, I mean, writing music is my way of expressing my feelings. The only thing that I think can be hard sometimes for people is if you put that out, it's for everyone too. So as much as it's your own personal thoughts, it becomes known to people. And I've always found that to be a beautiful thing. I do have songs sometimes where I'm like, I don't think I'd ever do anything with that, just because it is too personal at this point in time. But I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to share the way that you feel in such a personal way, but also a delicate way through song.
Right. Now you have another song called Leave. Was that also something that was based on personal experience?
Leave was kind of a bit of a mixture. I wrote that with Charly Reynolds and Cameron Palmer, and we all just got to talking about past experiences, whether it be dating, friendships, you name it. Specifically dating, I think in this course is kind of where we were, but there's those friendships too where people leave and you're so confused. And we just got to talking about that feeling of being left and how deeply sad it can be to have someone be in your life and become a regular part of the way in your rhythm in life, and then they leave, and that empty feeling that you're left with. And we all related on it, and when we were writing it, we all knew we were writing something special. And it's been very beautiful to see how other people have felt that too, because I think when you feel that so often, you kind of feel alone. You don't feel like anybody else understands. But one beautiful thing to art is that you're able to realize that other people get it too.
Yeah, and I want to go ahead and play that here on Hank's Corner. So this is Dariann Leigh with Leave.
You were always trying to change me, mix it up and rearrange me. I'm not one to let the rules bend. Then I started playing pretend, followed your steps to the moon, and now how the hell do I get back to solid ground? When you look in the mirror and tell me, do you see her? You can't make me different and just leave, and just leave. You got what you wanted out of me, out of me. Tell me, was it worth it? You left me deserted, begging on my knees, trying to find me. Bet you're burning every bridge that you meet, then you leave. Dancing in the kitchen to red, red wine. Now I just get lost in the neon lights. I don't touch what reminds me of what you convinced me to love. Followed your steps to the moon, and now how the hell do I get back to solid ground? You can't make me different and just leave, and just leave. You got what you wanted out of me, out of me. Tell me, was it worth it? You left me deserted, begging on my knees, trying to find me. Bet you're burning every bridge that you meet. When you leave, then you'll leave. When you look in the mirror, tell me, do you see her? 'Cause I don't. You can't make me different and just leave, just leave. You got what you wanted out of me, out of me. Yeah, tell me, was it worth it? You left me deserted, begging on my knees, trying to find me. Bet you're burning every bridge that you meet, then you'll leave, then you'll leave, then you leave.
All right. Welcome back to Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. here with Dariann Leigh. And as mentioned before, this is my 75th episode of Hank's Corner. And you just heard Leave. And, you mentioned it was written by Cameron Palmer and Charly Reynolds and you. And that's such a lot of talent to have together in
Yeah.
one song. I know Charlie's got a recent song out called Tonight in Texas, which is also
Yeah.
doing very well. And, how is it to, work with some people like this, that are so talented?
It's fun. It's fun. And we're all within very similar realms of each other, similar age groups, similar interests, you name it. Charlie and I are friends. I've known Charlie forever. I don't even remember a time when I didn't know Charlie at this point within music. Like, we've known each other so long, and Cameron in the same way. And I think we're all in our lanes are finding so much success, and it's been so fun to not only watch them find their success, but to also just like understand what they're going through too. And writing this was the same way. We all met up, it was over Zoom, is during quarantine, all the things that were going crazy. We're trying to just build our own piece in that moment and write a song that we can all relate to. And it was very, very beautiful to be able to write a song that we all truly felt we could relate to.
Yeah, and it came out really well.
Thank you.
I'm curious though. So like I said, you got to work with some great talent, but given the chance, whether it's songwriting or being a musician or just being out there on stage, who would you really love to collaborate with the most?
Oh, I would love to write with Shane McNally, and I'd love to
Mm.
perform or have a song with Shania Twain. That's my
Okay.
thing.
All right. Well, let's see if that happens. And I'm always curious. And, for me, if I could ever have one guest on the podcast and say, once I get it, I can call it quits, it would be Alan Jackson. So
There we go.
that's what it is for me. But also along those lines, tell me, who is somebody there in your realm that we should be looking out for that is doing really well and might hit it big?
Ooh. I mean, my friend Nathan Wilson is doing all of the things. So successful and such a talent. I know his song "Better Than You" has like 1 million streams.
Mm.
Craziness. Like he's reaching so much success, and it's so cool to watch and to kind of have like a backseat to see someone go through that has been really exciting. So if you're not paying attention to him yet, you should. Charly Reynolds, as we said, you cannot go wrong with either of those two. I mean, I could go on and on and on about all the people that I want to succeed in life and that I've loved watching succeed too.
Yeah, and I love hearing about that because I want my audience to see that, obviously there's the top 40 and there's certain artists that are played over and over, but there's a lot of great talent out there for whatever reason, just don't have the right circumstances, but they're really great. And I want them to be aware of these people because they should be tuning in, and of course you're one of them, and so that's why I get people like you on the podcast.
Thank you.
And so, along the lines of music, currently, what is on your playlist on the music that you listen to?
Ooh, on my playlist. I mean, Kelsey Ballerini just came out with a new song that I've been listening to. What I Have, and then if you go down, I'm going down too. I can't remember the exact title right now, but those ones have been on repeat for me. And some alternative stuff. There's a lot of indie artists out there right now releasing some really not only just heavy, but just lyrically beautiful songs that I think if you have the option to go and just search up indie playlists of this month or that month, this year, that year, you can never go wrong.
Okay. And so I know you've had a pretty decent year. You turned 23 this year. You're out there in Virginia and North Dakota. What are some of the high points that you've had about this year?
Ooh, it's been really cool to be able to move here and to finally be putting my feet on the ground in Nashville more. Personally, I loved my trip to South Carolina about a month ago. That was really, really, really fun and very relaxing. I don't really call music work, but it is how I make a living. I always say that there is no timetable. Like we don't have a clock in, clock out. So it's really great to be able to have even like a weekend where you just clock out and enjoy. I don't really take much of a break from social media very often. So that was really fun. But just being able to be around like-minded individuals all chasing at the same goal has been really beautiful.
Okay. But we still have about, a little over 3 months left in the year. What should we expect in these remaining 3 months from you?
Oh, there's plenty more coming with Jackson. We are not finished yet. We're only getting started with Jackson. In fact, there will be more this week. Actually, every week for the next month or so, there's little things coming out here and there for Jackson. I've got new music for the new year, always writing new things. If you follow my social media channels, you'll be able to hear little blurbs of that here and there, little dishes into the candy jar that you might not have gotten if you didn't. And yeah, shows, staying busy.
So speaking about shows, what should somebody expect if they came to a Dariann Leigh show?
Ooh, I mean, there's a difference in show levels, though. If you come to like a big show, you can expect a lot of energy. If it's me and my guitar and a friend and their guitar, you can just expect fun. I always tell people it's fun, it's carefree, it's effortless, excuse me, and we're just gonna have a good time. And I always tell people it's your show. Tell me what you want me to play. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it definitely looked like you were having a good time up there and enjoying it. And I definitely appreciate you coming on the podcast. I'm going to play wherever I go to end it because it's such a fun song. But if you ever want to be a guest on my podcast, you're more than welcome to do so.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. And congratulations again on 75.
If you're looking for me, I'm probably driving around with the top down, pretending I'm in a music video. Oh, got all the right feeling that strong groove. I'm not afraid to break it down. 2, 3. I'm singing along, I know every note. That drum beat, my heartbeat, that old school soul. No, I ain't afraid of no rainy days, 'cause wherever I go, that song plays. Like wherever I go, that song plays. You know those sad days, those low down bad days when nothing and no one seems to turn out right. Oh, I know that medicine, that healing blessing that keeps me moving towards the light. I'm singing along, I know every note. That drum beat, my heartbeat, that old school soul. No, I ain't afraid of no rainy days, 'cause wherever I go, that song plays. Like wherever I go, that song plays. Rain, go away. Come back and see me some other day. I'm turning the dial up on my heart. No, you can't tear this girl apart. So when that song plays, ooh, that song plays. Wherever I go, I'm singing along, I know every note. The drum beat, my heartbeat, that old school soul. I'm singing along, I know every note. The drum beat, my heartbeat, that old school soul. No, I ain't afraid of no rainy days, 'cause wherever I go, that song plays. Like wherever I go, that song plays. Wherever I go, if you're looking for me, I'm probably driving round with the top down, pretending I'm in a music video.